time again. We wanted to go against the champs and see how we matched up and fit. That was that.
I'd say they matched up pretty well. That's the voice of Tobias Harris. Big shot, 3 ticks to go. Philly had a 14-point lead in the fourth against the King and company. It all winnowed away, but Tobias was there at the end. Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our guests on the Goodyear Hotline. Tobias there at the end. Let's start at the beginning. It's a little early for MVP talk, but even though the Lakers lost that game last night.
No, it's not, Zubin. We're a quarter of the way through the season.
One game.
Quarter of the way through.
It's one game, Zubin.
It is just one game. And at number one in your MVP rankings, it's early, Jay, but a quarter poll through, you've got the King at the top and another guy that was on the floor in hot pursuits.
Yeah, I said yesterday it's between Joel Embiid and a guy like LeBron James. I think Kevin Durant is in that conversation. Nikola Jokic is in that conversation. But look, LeBron James should have 6 MVP awards, damn it. 6. Like, he should surpass Michael Jordan. 2018, I felt like he got robbed from James Harden. I also felt like he got robbed last year with Giannis. And I think this year, the numbers are speaking for themselves, right? Like, now, because of last night, Utah and I think the Lakers are at the top of the overall standings in the NBA. But I would say just with the way LeBron James is playing, career high in three-point shooting percentage at 41%. He's shooting 50% from the floor. He has a career low in minutes that he's being played, averaging 25 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game, 7 assists per game. But it's all the ancillary things he does for his team. And last night, watching them play, they were down double digits within 2.5 minutes left to go in the game. And they just find a way to turn it on. I know that the 76ers got to win off a Tobias Harris shot to close the game with 2.5 seconds left. But it just feels like this Lakers team is prone to do something incredible once again, led by LeBron in a way he affects every aspect of the game. And I just want LeBron to continue to get his praise. And I don't want to see it be one of these years where somebody else steals an MVP award away from him because we have LeBron James MVP fatigue.
Yeah, but I think when you look at it, though, Jay, I don't think that'll be the case this year. I think because of the way things went last year with him in the MVP voting, if he stays on course and doing what he is doing right now, and at the end of the season, he's where he started, I think he gets the nod. Because he, in my opinion, is so far out in front of everybody else because of his age, because of what he's doing on the floor, where the Lakers record is at, how people are coming into the season looking at the Lakers as a whole. You know how momentum is. When you carry that momentum into the end, that carries volume. It goes a long, long ways. And I think, from a Giannis standpoint, you're not going to keep giving out MVP trophies to guys that don't finish the deal. I mean, you're just not. How could that be an MVP? I understand it's a team award. I mean, an individual award within the constructions of a team, but you don't advance anywhere. I gave you an MVP 2 years in a row, and you stuck on stupid, right? You can't move past that. So I think when you look at it, LeBron led his team to a championship a year ago and didn't get the MVP voting, and he kind of threw a little, kind of, now I don't want to call it shade because he didn't hide it. He said exactly what he felt. And now he comes out again at his age. It looks like he's 22 years old again. And so when you start to look at that, it's like, well, what can you say? I understand Luka's playing great and some of the other players are playing great, but this dude is doing this at this age?
Oof.
I mean, come on.
At the age of 36, he's a 4-time regular season MVP, a 4-time NBA Finals MVP. And right now, in the MVP race, according to Jay, a quarter way through the season, the Kings at the top. Jay, I see you vexing. What's going on?
Because I want to root for the 76ers. I love Daryl Morey. I love Doc Rivers. I like some of the pieces that they brought to the table, including Seth Curry, who can spread the floor, Danny Green, who can shoot, even though Danny Green sometimes looks very, very old on the court, especially defensively, Key. Like, he began roasted when he's on the island. I now see why the Lakers are like, oh, okay, Danny, like, you cool over there. But, so I just don't trust Joel Embiid. And last night, watching him play, and he's having an incredible season. Like I said, he's in my MVP conversation. I just wonder sometimes about his durability, Key, when stuff gets tough, when it comes time to make a play. Ben Simmons is horrible this year at the free throw line. Granted, he's been playing more aggressively down the stretch, and I know that, Doc Rivers is supposed to unlock Tobias Harris, and he did have a game-winning shot last night. But there's something about this team just feels like they're lacking that leadership, like that toughness. And I watch Milwaukee, and are there questions around Giannis in the playoffs and teams building a wall around him? But I watched Drew Holiday. Like, Drew Holiday is a dog. Chris Middleton is more of an ancillary player with Drew Holiday and Giannis, and they can shoot the ball well from the outside. I watched the Nets. Are there questions about them defensively? Yes, but I still know they're going to be trying to make moves during the trade deadline to find a big, if that's an Aaron Gordon or if that's a JaVale McGee, to help them kind of build out defensively with this team. I just feel like with what I watch, and I watch basketball every single night into the wee hours of the night, I feel like right now, if I were to bet money, I would bet money on the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks being in Eastern Conference Finals before I would have the Philadelphia 76ers in that conversation.
Well, I think, first of all, you got to give Embiid credit,
Yeah.
right? In falling under the spell of Coach Rivers and getting right now, Coach Rivers has changed everything in my mind about Joel Embiid based on what I saw last year. Out of shape, didn't look great. Now he's running the floor. He's knocking down the long distance threes the way he is in transition. So when you start to look at him, you start to say, okay, I felt like that all along. If you remember J. Doc going over there or Glenn Rivers going over there, I'm like, he going to get them turned around. Everybody, for the most part, was like, oh, man, you can't get rid of him, move him. I'm like, no, man, that dude going to be all right. So far, so good.
So far, so good. These are the numbers that Jay mentioned. These are the most important numbers because with Embiid, as Jay said, it's all about his health. Here are the total number of games he's played in the NBA, realizing most of these seasons are 82 games, right? 31 games, 63 games, 64 games, 51 games. This year, 14 or 15 games, they've played 19. So even this young year where he looks like an MVP candidate, he still has missed
he got
games.
tapped on his stomach last night and fell on his back. And literally, you could have felt a pin drop in that building. Everybody got worried about it. And what happens with Joel is when he's injury prone, he starts to settle for more jump shots. And until I see that mentality change for Joel Embiid, I don't know if I can ride with them to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay, Sixers over the Lakers, 107-106, thanks to Tobias Harris. A reminder to tune into Mike Greenberg's show, Greeny, which immediately follows our show, Keyshawn J. Will Zubin on ESPN Radio. As always, Greeny will take you inside the stories of the day as only he can. Have the newsmakers you'd expect and interact with you every single day. From Keyshawn J. Will